Hello, everyone, and welcome to our prep talk inside Master Admissions at NEOMA. My name is Dheeraj, and I'm the moderator of this webinar on behalf of Prep Advisor. Our speaker today is Fernando Yambias, the International Admissions Manager at NEOMA Business School. He will be, we are launching a new format today, and Fernando will be answering your questions alongside mine. You will be able to ask your questions throughout the whole webinar, and basically we are asking Fernando the questions on NEOMA's Master in Science programs, and we will add your questions to the questions that I'm asking. We will be focusing today on questions regarding admission to NEOMA Specialized Master's programs. We will also discuss the news around the school and how the new school year will start, as the situation right now is pretty extraordinary everywhere in the world. There are some changes that Fernando will shed some light on. We will also have some more details on the changes in the online delivery of the courses due to the specific situation, and he will announce how they will happen and what will happen during the start of the new year. You will be able to send your questions during the entire webinar by typing them in the Q&A section. And I would like to encourage you to take a look at your control panel. There is a Q&A section there. When you click on it, you will be able to see, to ask your questions. And I will be able to see them and directly put them through to Fernando. Okay, so let's check the sound now. Could you please type in the Q&A box which country you are joining us from, so that we can see that everyone can hear us. In case you can't hear us, also give us a heads up, and my colleagues will be able to assist you. In case you don't hear or you don't see, just log out and log in again. Perfect, thank you very much. I see some answers already. After the end of the webinar, there will be also, as a bonus, an option for individual meetings for you, between you and Fernando. Fernando will stay for an hour more, and you will be able to ask your questions to him regarding your specific situation. This will happen through the Advent Connect platform, which we are using currently to hold this webinar. And I am sending you right now a link where you will be able to you will be able to log into the system. You have probably logged in order to be online for this webinar, but in case it asks for another login, when you click on it, you should put in your email address as a username and telephone number without the country code as a password, and there is a button there where you can request a meeting so that you can just book a time slot. The meetings are 15 minutes, and right after the webinar, you will be able to book right now you are able to book your meeting, and right after the webinar, you can log in so that you can meet with Fernando personally if you want to ask your questions. Okay, everything is all set, so I think we can now start with a brief presentation, and Fernando will give us a really brief introduction to NEOMA, what NEOMA is about and what their principal core programs are, and then we will start with the questions. Fernando is joining us right now from France. Hi, Fernando.
Yeah. Thanks, Dheeraj, for the introduction. Thank you guys for tuning in today to learn how NEOMA is, what's the offer for master's degrees here at NEOMA, and how is it that we are coping to the situation, and what are the options we are offering to our students and future students at the beginning of this intake. So as Dheeraj said, the idea here is I will just briefly introduce the school for those who do not know it yet, know us yet. And the idea would be to go through a couple of things about NEOMA and then go into the list of our Masters of Science, give you a couple of tips and informations about what's going to be the intake. And then, of course, as Dheeraj said, just we will be welcoming your questions and I will be answering them. So NEOMA Business School, it's a French business school. We are located in 3 different cities in France. I'm located in Rouen. This is the campus of Rouen. Then we have another one in Reims, and for the end, I live in Paris. So we have 3 campuses, around 10,000 students with 160 full-time professors, roughly 63,000 alumni network, which is the 4th in France in terms of size and engagement. We're very proud of them. Then we have in our campus around 100 nationalities every year. And we have very, very good partners, university partners around the world, around 340 that welcome our students every year. And we're lucky to have their students as exchange, of course. So this is the key figures. One of the most important things that every business school says is that we have the triple accreditation, other what is known as Triple Crown. It's Association of MBAs, AACSB, and EQUIS. These 3 are the big 3 of accreditations in the world, and we're very proud to have in the 3 of them the maximum length possible, which is 5 years. And recently we have renewed AMBA for our executive MBA, and which is also the accreditation is also valid for our master in management, just from this year, and we're happy about that. Around 25-30% of our students come from another country that is not France. We're also proud of that, and our idea is to welcome more and more international students every year. In terms of rankings, we are basically a top 10 university here, business school here in France. The last one says that we are number 6. We are between 8, 7, and 6. We're very proud that the last one said 6, but okay, it can change between rankings. And then our Master in Management is ranked number 43 in the world, according to the Financial Times, and The Economist ranks it on the 19th place. Both of them are from last year. We're still waiting this year's edition. Then just to give you a brief tour of the campus, the Parisian campus, for the moment, it's a smaller one, the smallest. It's a city campus. It's a building with 5 floors and welcomes a few programs for the moment. In September 2021, that's going to change. We're going to move locations. Right now, we're in the 9th district. We're going to move to the 13th in Place d'Italie. And over there, we are building a new campus that will be able to host, I think it's around 3,000 students. So it's gonna become much bigger. And then we have Rouen, which is where I'm connecting today from. It's a campus that it's located like 15 minutes by bus from the city center of the city of Rouen, I mean, and it's surrounded by green. It's surrounded by a small forest, and we're very happy about that. And then we also have the Reims campus. It's a city campus again. It's divided into 2 buildings with amazing features over there too, and with the advantages of 2 things. First, it's located in the middle of the city, and it's big as well. So we're very proud about that campus too. Roughly, if you want a distribution of the campuses, you would say that we have around 4,000 students in Rouen and in Reims, and then the rest it's in Paris. Okay. So now I would like to discuss about the Masters of Science. We have 16 of them. We have divided them into 3 categories because somehow we need to present them. So we have like those about finance, about marketing, and about business or management. Basically, and this is related to what Dheeraj was saying during the introduction. These programs usually they start in September. However, we decided to postpone to by 1 month the intake, so we could give more time for international students to come to France, given the situation, the COVID situation. So that's already giving you guys 1 month to come, 1 month to get your visa, to get all your documents to be able to come, and also to let the borders to open up. However, we have also taken the decision of offering 5 new programs, and those you can recognize them by the small purple dot that will also be offered in January. We already had 2 that are, it's a different version of the one in September. I can get into detail later if somebody's interested. And we have added 5 more. The 2 that we had already is about financial markets and technologies, finance and investment analysis. Those are preparing you for certifications. And then the new ones are corporate finance, international marketing and brand management, luxury marketing, international project development, supply chain management, and global management. All these are new programs that are somehow also offered, this is important, also offered in January. It's not that we are moving the whole intake, it's another intake, another option for you to join the program. So that's decisions that we have made to cope with the COVID situation, okay? About the duration of the programs, the normal length, it's 15 months, where you get 5 months of courses in the campus, and then 6 months of internship, followed by the 15th, which is the submission and defense of your, I wouldn't say thesis, but it would be like your project, okay? There are programs that are also, as I said, those are starting financial markets and technologies and finance investment analysis and wealth management. Those can be done in 2 years too, starting in January. And then the third aspect that I would like to discuss today is that these programs are not in all campuses, and they are distributed by campus. So depending on the specialization you are looking for, you should go to one campus or the other. Some of them, very few, are offered in both Rouen and Reims, and only one is offered in Paris, which is the luxury marketing one. There is another option to join a Master of Science, which would be to do it in 2 years. This is an option for those who do not come from a business-related background, business or engineering. So those who have done, for example, I don't know, history, philosophy, sociology, literature, journalism, and would like to start a new career, like a career shift, or would like to acquire some knowledge about, I don't know, marketing or management or supply chain or finance. Well, in that case, what we offer is a 2-year program. The first year being like an introduction that will prepare you to go into the MSc. That's also a very interesting opportunity starting in September as well. Maybe one thing, before we start with the questions, Dheeraj, what I would like to point out is the last slide would be about certifications that some of our programs will offer you in the content, which means that you will do the program, you will get the degree by NEOMA Business School, and at the same time you'll be also being prepared, and you will take exams to obtain international certifications. For example, in financial markets and technologies, you will be prepared, and we will help you obtain the FRM, Financial and Risk Management. For the accounting would be the Certificate in Management Accountant exam. Then in the CFA would be Finance, Investment and Wealth Management would be the CFA, which is Chartered Financial Analyst, that will help you with level 1 and 2, okay? Also, special features would be those programs that allow you to obtain a second degree, which would be, you will be obtaining a degree of NEOMA, and then one of our partners That's the case in 2 programs. Global management, you'll be studying with us in Reims for 1 semester, and then you're going to another business school. It could be in Germany with ESP, or it could be in Ireland with DCU. And another case would be the International Master in Luxury Management, that it's another double degree where you will study 1 semester here in Reims, not here, I mean Rouen, but I mean in Reims in France. And the second semester you'll go to Milan to study with our partner MIP, which is the Business School of Politecnico di Milano. Important to know that this program also has the sponsorship of 2 very important brands in the luxury world. One of them is Champagne Tétanger, which is a champagne house, one of the largest here in France, and also Prada Group, which, well, you know, Prada. So I guess that would be it, Dheeraj.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you for this brief introduction. I
Maybe
see
I will
that,
stop sharing.
yeah,
But,
you can stop
yeah.
sharing for
Okay.
the moment. So I see that there is quite a lot of information regarding the COVID situation. So in case something, so you said that you will be postponing the start of the year. How would you change the delivery of the courses? Will they change in the sense of becoming online, or will they stay on site there?
Well, for the MSCs, those who, again, we postponed the intake from September to October. Somehow we coped. We're going to finish a little bit later than expected, but it's fine. Maybe we'll have less free time during the year because we have as well some breaks during the year. So we're going to skip those a couple of times, and we will be able to deliver the same amount of courses for the MSCs. But also, as I said, 5 MSCs will also be offered in January. So the idea is that they will be starting in January, and then they will get the 90 ECTS as usual. And instead of finishing in December 2021, they will be ending the program a little bit later. Okay.
I see. Okay, great. And
somehow we managed to make to offer the same amount of credits and the same courses.
Okay, that's
and also
nice.
the internship experience.
Yeah, that's a very
and this could not
thing.
be done with all the MSCs. Sometimes the structure is not the same. So this is why we have only 5 options open for this coming intake, which is quite exceptional for us.
That's nice. Okay, well, speaking of exceptional things, you mentioned that you have you have over 16 MSc programs. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about the main thematic areas in which they are.
Yeah,
and
yeah, of course.
Maybe highlight the one that is the most exceptional one for NEOMA. What is the crown jewel, so to say, of NEOMA in terms of a program for MSc?
Of course. Thank you for the question. Well, as you could see in the presentation, we have three subjects that we have divided this large portfolio. One would be marketing, the other one would be finance, and the other one would be business and management. We try to have in each category one kind of general program based or focused on the thematic or the topic that we just discussed. For example, corporate finance would be the general program for finance. Global management would be the general program for business and management. And then international marketing and brand management would be the general program for the marketing category. Now, then finance, you can also say that we prepare you for the CMA, that's accounting, for the CFA, for the financial analysis, and for the FRM, for risk management. So all three very prestigious accreditations, and all three are coming in 3 different programs. Then on the marketing side, you get specialized marketing, which would be luxury marketing, and then you get digital expertise applied for marketing. And then you also get a very, very specialized as well, very niche, which would be the marketing applied for the wine and the gastronomy sector. And that is based in Reims. Reims is the capital of Champagne, which is where the champagne is made, so that makes sense. And then if you go to the business, you get like different kinds of management. That would be entrepreneurship, that would be project development, that would be supply chain. And if I have to point out a specific program, that would be international master in luxury management, which is this double degree with MIP, which right now it's ranked number 3 in the world in the luxury management masters. And that, as I said, has 2 major sponsors, Champagne Tétanger and Prada Group. We're very proud about this program. It's been ranked number 3 for the last maybe 3 years now. So yeah, we're very proud. That doesn't mean that with other programs we don't have also partnerships with companies. I would say that for the entrepreneurship and innovation, we have a partnership with KPMG, and so on and so forth. So we're actually very proud of the whole portfolio, right? And we think it makes lots of sense, that it's quite coherent, and that. But yeah, if I have to select one, I would say it would be, as we call it, IMLUX.
I see. That's great. And I suppose that those big companies, multinational, are also sourcing people from your program. So
of course,
people are starting
exactly.
internships directly with them.
Exactly. Already we see that in this particular program, but also in other programs, we try to get to tie links with the industry, so we understand and we try to cover the needs that the industry is showing. You know, every year we try to contact them. We invite them to come and give some lectures. We go visit them. For example, this IMLUX program, it has like a Paris Study Week. It's not just 1 week, it's 2 weeks, where we organize visits companies in Paris. Companies are coming to our campus, giving lectures, but also in other programs. Maybe there is not a week, but there are like different visits organized in the year for other programs to companies. It could be regional, it could be in other areas of France, sometimes in other countries, mainly European countries, which is easier for us to move, right? I don't know, it could be like a group of 50 people. Well, it could be tricky to go to other countries, but sometimes we do. For example, supply chain, we go to visit Rungis, which is a huge logistic and warehouse company outside Paris. Or yeah, we have many links with corporate partners, of course.
Okay, that's perfect. Since we're speaking about the programs and the school, can you tell me what are the differentiation points of your programs as compared to the others? What, so to say, differentiates NEOMA and its programs in particular?
Yeah. Well, I'd say that it's the approach we have in terms of the pedagogical elements. We've been introducing the VR, virtual realities, for a few years now. We have developed cases that are being used in class by all our students. Cases related to marketing, to sensorial marketing, to feel the experience of the consumer once they go into a store, or that kind of thematics. And also about logistics, to understand how a drive in a supermarket could work, how you can do your online shopping, and then what's behind all that, and what's the machinery that makes everything so perfect. Also the fact that we are inviting people from other companies, the fact that we have professors from all around the world. I think we have that strong approach. Then you can also, I don't know, maybe you can think about the NEOMA experience by giving the opportunity to our students to, if they want to and if they feel like, to become entrepreneurs. We have 3 major incubators, one in each campus, that is hosting companies and projects from our students and helping them to go through and to deliver those projects into real life. We're proud to say that we have a couple of successful experiences, more than a couple. And so yeah, I would go between VR, incubating, and also the experience brought by our professors and our corporate partners.
Modern curriculum with virtual reality, and especially with the incubators, it's quite important to have someone to boost an idea.
Of course.
So I'm happy that you have that.
And the thing about that, we have a specific program. For example, for those students who would like to go on exchange, we have a program that is called Entrepreneurs Across Borders. So they can go, and of course they have to have already a project that is working incubated in our incubator, and they could go to a specific group of partners who we have signed an agreement to go and understand how they are how are they incubating, in those countries, yeah, and try, why not, to launch as well operations in those other countries.
Yeah, that's definitely important, and seeing all the cultural aspects of different countries will definitely help to build a very viable international business. I would like to remind our attendees that you can ask your questions through the Q&A box. And in your main navigation menu, there is the box called Q&A. You can click on it and ask away your questions. I already have some built up from you, but I will ask them in a few moments. I would like to ask you regarding the school and the program a little bit more. If you can tell me what the goal of the programs are, what key competences does the school and the programs develop in students? How does the program upgrade the people so that they can get into real business and be really effective and successful?
I see. Well, it would depend on the kind of program, right? The generalist kind of programs, they will teach you how to do marketing in different environments. Maybe global management will give you the skills and knowledge to go from an operational level to a more management level. I would say that all the programs, they are aiming at improving your skills in the specific field you would like to specialize. For example, the finance, investment, and wealth management program will help you to become a financial analyst. That will allow you to improve your skills in finance, in the analysis of the financial assets, and of course in working in multinationals. The same for FRM, the finance and risk management, that will help you to become a risk manager, basically. So those are the key skills, and that's a very skill-oriented program. Then another skill-oriented would be digital expertise. These courses, they will give you all the idea here is that you can acquire some skills on about the digital world. It's not just to use the tools, but also to think digital in order to create a marketing strategy for the digital, right? And to be channeled into the digital world. It's not that you will be learning how to do Google ads or how to do some Facebook ads. It's like going bigger, right? It's like becoming the strategist behind those tools, yeah? Then if I go to other programs, that would be like entrepreneurship. Well, there you'll be learning everything about innovation, everything about becoming an innovation driver. It could be within an existing company, or it could be by creating your own company, right? As we said. If I go to supply chain, well, again, this is a very skill set, very particular. Here you'll be managing the supply chain of a company, or maybe different companies, and that's where it gets interesting. This program is that you are if you don't have those skills, well, you're going to learn them. If you have some of them, well, you're going to improve them as you're going to be programming. You're going to be working with different experiences, such as trains, but for cargo trains or passengers trains, or the flights, or that kind of things. Then if I go to luxury management, well, that would be that you'll be all introduced into the luxury field, and you'll be learning everything about what it's to be working in a luxury company. And I would say that's how it is. Of course, you will get top-notch education that can be, and you will get a specialization that can be applied into the company sector very, very easily.
Great. So then practice makes perfect could be summarized for your programs. You are focusing mainly on the practical aspects of the learning.
Well, yeah, and the good thing is that you're not just learning, because within the program you have this internship, that 6 months internship, which means that what you're learning, you're going to put into practice before you're graduating, right?
That's nice.
At least that's the idea.
Yeah, definitely. It's very good to have a very big practical part in education, and it's becoming more and more important because right now information is aging faster than it has ever aged. In 2-3 months, everything that you've learned, or most of what you've learned in a specific field, could be obsolete already. So definitely it's important. So before we advance with the admissions questions and get to know a little bit more about how to enter these great programs, I would like to give a question to the audience, and I will start a poll. I'm launching a poll right now, which should appear on your screens. And you will be able to vote so that we can see what is your inclination to this question. What is most important to you when choosing your master's program? So that we can know, and of course I will share the results with everyone so that you can see what is important for your peers as well, because this is quite important to just be aware of what is going on around you. Those are important questions for us as well as an organization that organizes various kinds of events, because we can see the trends. I mean, we can see that people are interested in one thing or another thing, and then we can help them better in order to orientate within this huge world of higher education. So right now I am seeing people still voting. I'm leaving it for a couple of more seconds in case someone wants to vote. And I'm ending the poll now. I'm sharing the results. So basically location and costs are the two things that are quite important for the candidates that have gathered today. Rankings is also something that is quite important, which is good, because as we see, NEOMA is one of the top ranked schools worldwide. And Fernando can tell us a little bit more about the rankings, as well as he already mentioned that there is the triple crown, the triple accreditation by the 3 top accrediting bodies. So how is NEOMA moving on rankings? Well,
as I was saying, we were historically we were a top 10 business school here in France. Recently we have been moving up, and the last ranking is putting us in the 6th place in France, which we're very proud of that. And then our master in management, it's ranked number 43 in the world by the Financial Times, and number 19th, sorry, by the Economist. Also we are very proud. And then in terms of European business schools, I think FT, Financial Times, ranked us last year in number 50 in Europe.
That's great.
And of course, all these are last year's. The one in the 6 is from this year, beginning of this year. The other 3 are from last year. We're just waiting for the results for this year's edition. We'll see how it goes.
That's perfect. So it's quite a good ranking then. I will start with one of the questions by candidates, which is relating to this topic. And since we were speaking about the current events, one of our attendees is asking us, do you think that this year will be a good year to start an MBA degree in this economic situation? And I think that we could extend the question for masters as well.
Yeah. I would say that it depends on what's your situation right now, of course. I would say that if you can go for it, I think it would be a good idea. You'll be having an advantage compared to others who cannot do it, who decided not to do it. You'll be in the field looking for internships or for jobs, I mean, right after graduation, before anybody else, with an accreditation, which would be an MBA or a master's. If it's an international one, well, maybe it's even better, depending on the country you're going to. I think that many people are having second thoughts about this intake. And I think that those who will go through it will be, let's say, in this some kind of speed racing track, which is the worldwide job market right now. I think you'll be prepared and you'll have your credentials before those people who had second thoughts. If you start like in September, October, or in January, you will have
your
the credentials.
Competition might be a little bit less for intake for this year.
I mean that if you decide to come now, you're going to be more prepared earlier. Why? Because if 2 out of 10 decided to come, the 8 will have to postpone to next year. Those 2 who started today will be ready to go into the job market and with the credentials, an MBA or a master's, earlier than those who are starting next year.
Yeah, so definitely better earlier.
That's my point of view, but again, it depends on the personal situation of everybody, your financial status, what are you going to do in this extra year? Are you going to work? Maybe it could be a good idea. Are you going to be just doing nothing? Well, maybe it's good to get trained into or through a master's or an MBA, of course.
Yeah, definitely it's better to upgrade and use the little bit of time that things are slowing down so that you can upgrade. And speaking of upgrading, maybe we can go to the admissions specifics right now of the program. Can you describe overall what is the application rounds and the deadlines for application for the master's programs at NEOMA?
Yeah, sure. Well, we're just right at the end, right? For the MSCs, most of them, as I said, they start in January. So we have time until the end of July to apply. The idea is that you apply, you are convoked for an interview, admissions interview, and then a couple of days later, we'll tell you if you're admitted or not, and they will give you 1 week to enroll. So all that time shouldn't take longer than 10 to 15 days. It's up to you. From the moment you submit the application, you should count at least 5 to 7 days to have an answer, and then maybe an extra week for you to enroll. So it's in the end, it's like 10 to 15 days time span. So okay, as I said, end of July, that's for October intake. Then I said that we have 5 to 7 programs in the January intake that we have time until the end of October. Well, we have more time because it's later. And for sure, next September, we're going to open the system to start receiving applications for September 2021.
Okay, great. So basically, can you tell us which are the more important parts of the application process? For example, how important are exams for the application process? What kind of exams do you request for people to have in order to enroll for NEOMA?
Sure. Well, what we require is basically an English level test. Then, of course, we required all what has been done during their academic past, the academic background. That's what we want to know. We want to have all the bachelor's degrees, all the years in the bachelor's degree, with their grades, what kind of courses they have taken, what are their grades, what's their GPA. English, as I said, it's very important, but the main part would be the admission. Sometimes the students, they come to the admission without even knowing what's about the program. And I think that's a shame, because it makes us, everybody, lose our time. What I mean is that if you are committed to applying for one school, I think the vast majority are that, when we're happy about that, because we have very, very good candidates. But some of them, if I have to give an advice, would be just show up to the interview, being prepared and knowing about the school you're applying to, the program you're applying to, how is that program and the content that is offering, how is it related to your professional project. Remember that here you are coming to study business or a business-related topic. And the idea is that after our programs, you're going to start working, or you're going to start looking for other jobs, better quality jobs, if I may. And the idea is that you need to understand what kind of jobs you're going to be looking for right after your graduation. This is when it becomes very important, the content and how you choose your program, right? So it's important to go to the interview and to understand what's the program about. Some programs, some head of programs, they would like to know what you know about the main topics of the program. For example, if we're talking about a finance program, they're going to ask you some questions about finance. If you are talking about the luxury, we have 2 luxury-related programs. They're going to ask you about how is it that luxury companies do something, like do marketing or do sales, or how do they look up after their image, that kind of things. Yeah. So try to get informed and try, let's say, be a serious candidate. That's going to be. So interview is very important. We spoke about the GPA, about the grades, the institution where you're coming from is really important too. We pay a lot of attention to that. And of course the English. If you don't have a good English level, well, that's going to be a problem, because our programs are all taught in English. So we're going to pay a lot of attention to that.
Quite normal. One question here by Shabir Sumaya. He is asking us, I'm Ghanaian, and all my education here was all in English as instruction classes. Do I need to prove English proficiency through an exam?
That's a good question. Well, the answer would be no. What we need is a letter from your university stating that you have done all your years during the bachelor's degree in English. If you're coming from an English-speaking country, well, we don't need that, of course, because we understand. But if you're not coming from an English-speaking country, but you have studied in English, well, you can always prove that through a letter from the university. We don't really need, in that case, an English score, for sure.
Okay, that's perfect. Can you tell us what, as soon as people get their documents, and so basically you submit first an application, you pay an application fee. How much time does it take for you to take a look at the documents and get back a reply whether they are accepted or not?
Well, I have to say that it could be like on the next day. There will be, if everything goes well, if we have received all the documents, if the questions are, if we are satisfied with the answers to the questions that are on the form, online form, I mean, I would say that we will invite them for the interview on the next day. If there is a problem, we will contact them and say, look, maybe I need this other document, or maybe you should check your answers. Maybe you can develop a little bit more. And why? Because every single element of the application is going to be evaluated by the head of the program. So it's important for us to provide a good application for that interview.
So all of the information that is needed in order to make the assessment is there. In case it isn't, you do some back and forth corrections, I suppose. You tell
exactly, yeah. We'll say, look, we will change their status in our system of their application. I will let them know what's missing. So we're going to give them maybe 1 day, 2 days to repair that.
That's perfect.
And
Great.
then
So,
they will be invited to the interview. And after the interview, I would say that we will take 5 days to give them an answer.
okay, that's great. You mentioned about rankings and accreditation. Can you tell us what the recognition of the of NEOMA's MSc degrees are in Europe, for example, or internationally?
Yeah, well, the MSCs, it's an how can I say this? It's like an international name for the international kind of masters that it's internationally renowned. I mean, our masters are recognized in France by the label of the Conférence des Grandes Écoles and by the Ministry of Labor as well. We are currently applying for the recognition from the Ministry of Education, and we are just ongoing on the steps to obtain this recognition, which would be the most prestigious in the country. We are confident that we will have a positive answer by September about this. So the fact that they are recognized either by the Conférence des Grandes Écoles here in France or the Ministry of Labor is already good, but we are undergoing this procedure, which we think it's gonna end in a very positive way, to get the top recognition you can have here in France that will allow these programs to become recognized as well around the world. However, these programs are already recognized by the corporate partners, which means that if they see in your CV that you have a Master's of Science in a field, plus the certifications that some of the Master of Science can give you by NEOMA Business School, a top 10 French business school, that's already a good indicator of the quality of the education you had. And the fact that we have 63,000 people in France, but also around the world, working in companies, well, I wouldn't say that like 63,000 people will be looking for other new graduates to hire, but I would say that it's a very important source of also of employment within our network once you get a degree from NEOMA Business School.
Okay, so basically, most of the students won't even need to get out of your network. So basically, you will most probably have employment further.
Exactly. Well, the idea is that the network helps itself. Also, if we're talking about what happens after graduation, we also have during the program, but also right after, we have a career services here in the school that will help you obtain that interview, that will help you talk to the companies. And that's also an important service that we provide to our students, of course.
Yes, and the credibility of the school name among companies is definitely more powerful than going out and looking for
sure.
a job here and there.
On your own.
On your own. Okay, we have a question here by Kunal S., who is looking forward to the MSc in Luxury Management in collaboration with MIP. He has 3 years of work experience, and he's asking us how relevant it would be to go for this program and later on in the job market post the COVID situation.
Well,
is there any sphere that he needs to be working in order to go for luxury management, or is
I would have. Yeah, I understand. I would have to see what happened in those 3 years of professional experience. I mean, what is the experience in what kind of field? If it's in the luxury world, well, that's a huge plus. Yeah, I think to answer that question, I think I need to have some more information about the person. Maybe we can meet up afterwards during these meetings. Yes, in terms of in the global perspective, I would say that again, I would say that if you get trained now, you will be trained by the time other people who didn't go trained today will be getting trained, which means that you will be already prepared to take those jobs. Because of course the COVID outbreak will finish at some point, and people are saying that it will finish by the first semester of this year, next year, 2021. So maybe by the time you're gonna start looking for an internship, which will be through an interview, would be by May, June next year. So that time you'll be already trained, you'll get already the contacts, and you'll be probably the person who will get the job that you want. Again, we need to see what happened before, if you are qualified to go into the program, and then if you'll be able to profit from all the features that the program has in France and in Italy, to then take advantage of all that. I'm sure you do, but anyway, again, it's a global answer without the specifics, right? I would need more information.
That's perfect. Okay. Well, for specific questions, I would recommend that you meet directly with Fernando so that he can tell you and advise you directly for your particular situation. I see a few questions that are pretty specific for a situation that
I
the
can give it a try,
is facing.
No worries.
So in any case, it would be good to schedule a meeting after the webinar. You have this opportunity by clicking on the link in the chat box. On the chat box, there is a link, bit.do ask NEOMA. So when you click on it, you will go to the Advent Connect platform. Most probably it won't request for any password, and you will be able to directly go to the place where you can book your meeting. There are 4 time slots there where Fernando is available to answer your questions. There will be a 15-minute one-to-one meeting with him. So you can book your meetings there. But in any case, I will ask most of the questions so that we can all benefit from it in this great webinar. I would like to proceed a little bit with the financial part of the things. Can you shed some light on how the finances are distributed? I mean, how can the fee be paid? Can it be paid in installment?
Yeah,
what
I
kind
understand.
of installments and so on?
Yeah, sure. I understand. Well, first of all, we still have this excellence scholarship for international students, which is basically once you are admitted into one of the MSCs, and if you meet some kind of criteria that we have already set, my team will contact you to say, look, why don't you give it a try and apply for the scholarship, and then then when it's submitted, we can analyze every request and then make a decision. This scholarship can grant you a discount on the fees of up to 4,000 euros. So already it's a good way to finance your studies, which is like getting a good scholarship thanks to your profile, right, as a candidate. Then everybody should know that at the moment of the admission and to enroll, you need to pay a down payment, which is some companies like a deposit that you pay. It's at 2,500 euros. Of course, it's part of the fees, so you're already paying the fees, and by that you are blocking your seat into our class. Then we have then what happens? The idea is that by October you paid all the fees, the rest of the fees of the program. If you have some financial problems, we can talk into having a payment plan implemented, but it would be always during the program. So I think it can go from, I think it's 2 to 3 installments. So it's either you paid in upfront, first the deposit, then the rest upfront in October, or we can set up a payment plan. That's quite exceptional, and it's because of the COVID situation. And it can go up to 3 installments during the program. Yeah.
You're flexible with finance then, which is good. You already answered the question there for scholarships that you can get something up to 5,000 euro, I think.
4,000.
4,000 euro.
It's 5,000 if you apply early, because you have the early bird, but the early bird is not running anymore, like for a long time.
Okay.
So now we only talk about 4,000 because that's the maximum this scholarship can grant for an MSc candidate.
That's great. Okay, I will now have one more poll activated so that we can have another insight on the candidate, so that we can put this a little bit into in order to put this a little bit into perspective. When do you want to start your master's studies. I'm launching the poll, and I would be happy if you can answer me. When do you start? When do you plan to start your master's studies, so that we can put that into a time perspective? Because as we said earlier, definitely some people are thinking of postponing a little bit, and in case most of the people are doing that, there definitely could be some good in applying earlier, so that you can be ahead of the competition, so to say, a little bit. I see that we already have some answers. Most of them are for spring 2021. No one is yet considering fall 2020, which is quite normal in this situation, but in any case, they could benefit if they change their minds to apply a little bit earlier. I'm ending this poll and I'm sharing the results. So spring 2021 is obviously the preferred time when people will be starting. We have some more minutes for last questions, so I would like to encourage you to type in your questions in the Q&A section, and we will direct the conversation a little bit more to the business, to the post-graduation situation after you graduate. Can you tell us a little bit more about the internship that is within the program? How does it work? How long it is, and afterwards, is there any stats on how many people, how much percentage of people stay with this company after the internship?
Yeah. Okay. For the internship, well, we throughout the year we organize company forums. We organize also virtual fairs. When I say we, it's our career and services that will help our students throughout their internship search. The students will be able to set up one-to-one meetings with counselors, career counselors, to better aim at the possibilities that or at the options that are interesting for them in terms of internships. The internship can take place in France or abroad. Our career counselors, they are specialized in different regions of the world, not just in France. That's very important. Then throughout the events, but also throughout our tool, we have an online tool that will help you, a database that has around 20,000 ads. Where using that, you'll be able to find multiple opportunities for you to go on this internship hunt. Again, it could be in France or it could be in another country. And then what I always say, it's basically up to you. Even though the school do not, let's say, will give you all the tools, will help you, will train you, will guide you in this search. If you don't do what you are supposed to do, you won't get that internship that you want. Nothing will come in a silver platter. That's what I always say. That's what I always advise. Another thing that I advise is that if your idea is to come to France and to have your internship in France, and why not after your studies stay and work in France? Well, French language skills are needed. Coming to study with us, it's not needed. For getting an admission to our programs, when they are English taught programs, well, the French will not be needed. However, if you want to work in France, well, that's when the French becomes very important. During your studies in NEOMA, you will be learning French. You will have French lessons. However, I have to say it's not enough. So the best would be to come in advance. To start taking courses. If you can come to France to get courses in France, that's even better. And to then come and study with us. So the internship, the idea is that you do, by the end of the courses, you have a 4th month minimum, 6 month maximum internship that could take place again in France or abroad. If it's in France, it's going to be most likely paid, because by law, these companies have to pay the students that are the interns, let's say. If it's not in France, most of the internships that our students get, they are paid as well. But of course, that depends on the legislation of each country, and we cannot do much about it. Then what happens afterwards? That means that we conduct surveys every single year, every single new batch of graduates. Well, we contact them. We say, okay, what happened after your graduation? How was that first job after graduation? What does it look like? Well, of course, I'm talking generally speaking here. Basically, our students, they get a job. I would say roughly 65% of the students, they get a job before graduating. And then within 6 months of graduation, and that depends on the program, but top 6 months, all of the students, they got a job, okay, a first job. Again, the survey says that salaries could go between 40 to 45,000 euros a year. That would be gross, that's before taxes. And again, it depends on the kind of job you're doing, on the kind of masters you have done. If you are done more into finance, well, most likely you will get a higher salary than somebody who has just started in the luxury world. That's how it is. That's how the market works. But that doesn't mean that the program and the content and the links that you will get will allow you to keep improving all along your career, of course. Those are just the statistics of the first job after graduation. Yeah, I think
Great.
I answered your question.
Yeah, we have a question here by Anish, who is asking us, what are the job prospects and competitive advantages in the market after a supply chain management from NEOMA?
Well, for the supply chain, they usually, at least in our program, they usually go into what is supply chain manager of a company or the paid purchaser. Usually the students, they go for the auto industry. They can also go for the food companies. I would say these two, sometimes for pharmaceutical companies. And some people, they go on to a PhD. But that's up to them. It depends on them. We get some good opportunities here within the school and with a partnership with other schools that would allow them to further their studies into a PhD in supply chain management, but focused on the supply chain. Yeah, I would say auto, pharmaceutical, maybe also our connection to the ports in Rouen, in Le Havre, and in Paris, all connected by the Seine River. That's important too. And then, yeah, the food companies as well. Yeah. But hey, the program will help you to obtain a job in any single sector in that particular function, right? The supply chain, be in charge of the supply chain of a company, a purchaser for those who would like to specialize in that kind of role into a company. It's up to you to decide where you want to work, right? Amazon could be another good Amazon-like companies also could be a good prospect for a job, for sure.
Yeah, especially in this situation now, they're becoming pretty strong. They were strong anyways. But right
now in Europe, more and more,
trade is
for sure.
booming.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are around the end of this session, and I would like to ask the final question. So in case someone has any final questions, please type them in the Q&A chat box. And I will ask you a final question with another poll in order to ask you another thing that is interesting for both candidates and educators alike. Why do you want to obtain a master's degree? I'm launching the poll right now with my final question, and I would like to encourage you to vote on this one. Why do you want to obtain a master's degree? Because it would be interesting to know for everyone what would be the main motivator for you to go for a master's degree. I see that people are voting already, so I will leave it for some more seconds. It should be appearing on your screen. And while you are voting, I I would like to remind you that you can book your personal meeting with Fernando after this session by clicking on the link in the chat box and requesting a meeting via the Advent Connect platform, where you can log in through your email address and your telephone number as a password. So I am ending the poll and sharing the results. So basically there's a big portion of the people that want to get an international diploma so that they can open up their perspectives, obviously, worldwide, and upgrade, of course, their skills and knowledge and change the residence in the country is one of the bigger results that show up. I am stopping the results sharing, and we'll go to the final questions now. It would be interesting for everyone to know how does a typical day of the student look like at NEOMA, and maybe you could shed some light on where they live, what they do in their leisure time, maybe an estimate of what the expenses are for living in your various locations. Probably there is a difference between Milan and Paris.
Yeah.
So this would be the final question.
Of course. Yeah, well, I would say that a student in the school, well, he or she will have a full-time schedule, which means that they will be studying from Monday to Friday, coming in the morning, then having lunch, of course, then studying a little bit more in the afternoon. Sometimes during the week, they will have some free time slots that will allow them to go and spend some time in our lounges that we have set in the campus, maybe in the library, maybe in the park here in the Rouen campus. In terms of the location, well, in Rouen, it's 15 minutes by bus, as I said earlier, to the city center, which means that you can also go to the city center and take advantage of life there. For Reims, it's in the middle of the city, so that's fine, and for Paris as well. Then in terms of where they would be staying, well, we have multiple options. You can stay in the student residencies, could be those owned by the government or those owned by private vendors. It's always through our school that you will get that option. We also have platforms that will allow you to get in touch with apartment owners that are just renting their apartment for students, where you can live alone or you can share it. If you're a group of friends and you get a big apartment, you can go and share an apartment, and that could be good. In terms of spending, I would budget somehow like 750 euros per month if you are coming to study in Rouen or in Reims. When we're talking about Paris, I guess you need to think about almost double. Basically, the main difference would be the housing option. Housing and renting in Paris is much more expensive than in Rouen or Reims. Then the cost of life, it could be a little bit more expensive, but not that much. The big difference there is where you're gonna live. And those 750 would cover, I don't know, food, accommodation, an eventual beer or movie tickets. I would not be counting holidays, right? That's on top. And then, of course, I mean, you have lots of things to do here. We have associations, student associations here in our 3 campuses, which means that you can register there and you can be part of the activities offered by the students. We have an association for sports, another one for arts. If you are into the finance, well, we have a financial one. About video creation. What else do we have? We have about ecology, which means that you'll be working with hives and bees and honey, or with eggs as well. Then you will be selling those products, those goods to the community. It's like we have plenty of options thanks to these student associations, and I can assure that your life will not be boring here.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much for this great talk, and it was very nice to hear all of those details regarding the NEOMA master's programs.
Oh, my
We
pleasure.
will be looking forward to the next webinar that will happen in a month or so with NEOMA. And I would like to invite everyone to once again take a look at the options to meet after the event. Prep Advisor would like to thank you all for the great questions that came up to us, so that we can ask them in this new format that we have designed, especially for your questions and focusing on your queries. Of course, the questions that we have compiled are also based on questions that were asked before by candidates on other webinars. To the questions that were not answered or were too specific, you will receive answers via email. And I would like, you will also receive a link with the recording for the whole webinar, so that you can watch it whenever you need to remind yourself of any of the details. On behalf of Prep Advisor and the whole team, I would like to wish you good luck in your academic journey, and we hope to meet you really soon. Thank you very much for attending. Thank you, Fernando, for your answers, and it was a pleasure to have you
for having
here.
me.
Thank
you
you,
very
and
much.
have a great day.